I want to thank you all for coming out this weekend. It's been a great time. All right, I've heard there was a rumor that there's over 7,000 people here this weekend. About 4,000 of us this weekend, getting along, having a good time, dancing to music. It's a good thing. Well, thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. You guys are beautiful, all of you.
Sometimes just a reason, love is just a lie. I don't trust love, but I know it goes. See it once me, oh, sometimes when it's done, oh man, it's just a lie. Laying in the bed, daybreak on the lake.
I got to see the Grateful Dead in 1989 in Alpine Valley. I was amazed by the energy of the music. At that point, a number of us had been playing in top 40 bands and heavy metal bands, and it was opening us up to different forms of music, and it was real improvisational. It's just messing around in different keys and playing with different grooves. Really enjoying the music and the vibe and the energy of the whole thing, the whole collective consciousness of the music combined with the environment. And then it's more than just what you see and hear during the show, it's what you feel. Which I think it's a positive force in everyone's life once they experience it. It's like everyone feels a little bit different after they've been hit with that wave of musical energy. But when we're seeing those early Grateful Dead shows and learning about the music, we could see how the music could evoke a certain energy in the crowd to this, it was like this musical catharsis that we thought is amazing, and if we studied it and tried hard enough, maybe we could not only recreate it but perpetuate it. And at the time I was going to college studying jazz, which made it easier to transcribe them with Grateful Dead tunes and understand how they work.
Hi, I'm Brian McClellan again. We're here interviewing The Kind. This features Jimmy Tebow on bass. You're a Jefferson College student here. You're involved with the music program here at Jefferson College. Do you feel that it has helped you hone your skills, and would you recommend it to other people that might be coming to Jefferson College?
Yeah, I've been playing in the jazz bands out here for this is my second semester, and just the past month, I just, by the month, I can feel myself getting better. And if anybody's a musician and wants to learn, this is a very good place to learn. There's some really good teachers that care, and yeah, I would, definitely.
In the early days, in the early 90s, we were originally called The Kind, and not the Schwag. And we played as The Kind for probably almost a year. Mostly playing on Tuesdays in St. Louis, and we were playing as the Schwag on Mondays. But after a while, we realized we can't be the Kind and the Schwag at the same time, and if anyone's the Kind, it's the Grateful Dead. So we must be the Schwag.
Now, Tracy, well, you're an alumni from Jefferson College. Okay, and what would you say the plans of your group is for the future?
Well, we're not really a group. We're just kind of like a jam unit, and we just play this kind of music just to maybe educate a couple people and get, some of the closed minds to check out different kind of music. So, we'll just play around and have a good time.
All right, well, good luck with whatever you guys do. Now the jam unit, The Kind, there's some more for them.
In the early days of the Schwag, it was more or less just a jam session. We got us a gig at it was called the Links Club at the time. Don't look for it, it's not there anymore. It was the Links Club in the central west end of St. Louis. in top 40 bands and heavy metal bands, we were performing to the crowd that just happened to show up at the nightclub that night that was just looking for a band. They didn't care what band. But when we started doing the Schwag group, we noticed that a lot of the same people were coming back. Where we were recognizing people, it's like, hey, you were here last Tuesday. It's like, yeah, I enjoyed the show so much last week. I come back to see what you guys were going to come up with this week. So it challenged us as musicians to come up with different songs to perform for these people and to do different things with the songs that, you know, they may have seen us play before. We always kind of had our own little twist on the Dead stuff, and it seemed like no matter who was in the band, we always had our own flavor. Even if we tried really hard to sound exactly like a certain recording of the Dead, it would still come out Schwagamatized. And after so many years, I gave up trying to sound like the Dead, and it's just like, well, let's just do it the way we do it. We're the Schwag, take it or leave it. You know, we're not recreationists, we're perpetuationists. So we just do our own twist on the music. We approach the tunes as though they're jazz charts. We just take the basic outline of the song, what key it's in, what the tempo is, what the lyrics are, what the melody is, and we do our own thing with it.
Go up, bam!
That's why that D, it's A minor to a D major there, that one part gives it that dissonance when you go to that supplication jam. Oh, you know, so when we come out of that, we're going to stay at 7 and go into a song that's going to be just in D minor.
So when I'm doing that part, it's D minor. We almost got it, really.
Yeah, that sounded remarkably.
I told Phil Lesh once, the one time I met him at a book signing, I let him know what we do. I only had 2 minutes to talk to him. I was like, hey, we just take the songs and rock them out. We don't even try sounding like you guys. I hope you're not offended. He's like, no, that's the way it's supposed to be played. That's all we ever did. You know, it's great that you're continuing on that vibe instead of recreating stuff. So I felt we got Phil Lesh's blessing, even though he probably doesn't remember talking to me or anything. But I was glad to hear him say that. He signed her. We bought his book, Searching for the Sound, and he autographed it. You know, good luck.
Okay, so let's first time
E minor.
First time is just B flat D.
That's my bass line.
Oh, okay.
You're just E minor,
Yeah.
and I'm climbing bass line up to G. That's why you probably thought it was weird. So it's just E minor, and then I climb up to G, C,
So second time,
G,
split this B flat with an F. Split
F,
with an F second time.
C,
Now we
then
go to
G.
And the last hit on a G is a G with a fourth suspension, coming in at A minor.
As time grew on, a number of musicians would come and go throughout the band. People that have went on to bigger groups, people that have retired from the music business. Some nights there'd be 4 people in the band, some nights there'd be 12 or 13 of us. Making noise, there'd be a lot of percussionists, sometimes 2 bass players, and I would play lead bass. The other guy would play rhythm bass on his 6th string. There was a couple times I was just the lead singer. I'd just stand there with a microphone and sing. And when Jerry died in 1995, that was a big freak out. That's when we thought, man, that's the only group that can really capture that energy. We were playing a house gig in the Soulard area of St. Louis at a little small club called Molly's.
Every Tuesday night.
About 80 people.
I know some of you were there because I recognized some of you from way back then. And back then we were 3-piece, 3 guys in the band. Partly because the club was so small we could barely fit the 3 of us up there anyway. And some of them early Tuesdays there was more people in the band than the audience. It was kind of funny. We had some good nights there. We started playing a lot of Grateful Dead songs. We were having a good time. Then some of the other clubs in town started hiring us. Played at the Blue Note, and that was a lot of fun. So we had to keep going back there. Then we went down to Carbondale, Illinois, and we had fun with them folks. Then we started going to state, like all the way to Bloomington, Indiana, up to Iowa City, Iowa. And before too long, we were covering 16 states in the Midwest, doing about 200 shows a year. It's like, how did that happen?
Sunny side of the street is dark. Well, you can never tell. Maybe that's 'cause it's midnight and the dark in the moon beside. Maybe the dark is from your eyes. 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 Oh, you got such dark eyes.
Milk. What is with all the... Where's regular? Vanilla cream, strawberry, chocolate, cookies and cream, strawberry chocolate. What the fuck?
Shaking on Shakedown Street. Used to be the party town. Tell me this town ain't got no home. Just gotta poke around.
Right now, we are looking for our hotel in the pouring rain in downtown Memphis, Tennessee. Jack and I go through this often, not knowing exactly where our hotel is, or sometimes even what city we're in. But we know tonight that we're in Memphis because it's such a good time.
Down here to the right, and then it's on the right.
Hello, Lawrence.
See, I'm telling you, all these guys, they know.
Hello.
This
Look,
rock and
Lawrence,
roll.
right? Or is this Bonnaroo?
This is Schwagstock
Schwagstock
23.
20. No, this ain't.
Amen.
No, this is Wakarusa. I recognize
Waka,
that truck.
We're right here in the corner of Shakedown Street and Wakarusa Way. Right there by the general store. And it seems like all the people in this camping area and this camping area are funneling past here to go to the main stages, and that's why we're getting this flow. I think it's positioning is the key element of this, as well as timing. If it was 4 in the morning, we wouldn't be getting this good of a crowd. I can't tell if the street team is effective, you know.
Here you go, bud. Here you go.
We had given out 2,000 or 3,000 of them, and we do have about 5 or 6 people walking around with it.
Here you go. You must have one. You must have one. Here you go, bud.
The goal is to hand them all out, all these people, because potentially they would enjoy going to Schwagstock as well. So the theory goes. This is definitely our demographic. You know, it's like hitting the pavement, pounding the pavement, shameless self-promotion at its best. You don't get any better than this. Although there are some guys out there that work a jackhammer 8 hours a day in this heat. So this might be a few steps up from that anyway. Not that working a jackhammer is a bad job. I've actually done that before. But with this environment, there tends to be a few more hotter chicks walking around.
Again.
No. Can I have one? Let's see what I mean.
Tell me you've seen this town play through. Well, you can never tell. Nothing here that can interest you. Well, you can never tell. It's not because you missed out on the things that you had to start. Maybe you had too much too fast. 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 Just overplayed your part. Shaking on Shakedown Street used to be the heart of town. Tell me this town ain't got no. Just gotta poke around.
Definitely a dance band. It seems like no matter what type of audience we play to, we can get them dancing. And that's a cool thing, to get people dancing that usually don't dance. And the way we do it also is, or the way it ends up being really, is people that dance to the music, they don't pair up with each other like a lot of usual groups. They dance directly with the music. They'll all be facing the band. There might be a friend standing next to them, but they weren't really so much, they're dancing with the music. Some people call it the snake dance. And you just let the music flow through your body. And that's what people do at the Schwagstocks, whether you're 2 years old and you're just shaking it, or you're 70 years old and you're just getting it any way you can with the music. And to get 300 people dancing or 7,000 people up on their feet rocking out is a real rewarding experience for the musicians, because you're doing the job that you were there to do, is to please people, make them happy, and improve their life. Because music is not a need. People need a place to live, they need food, they need a job. They don't need music, they want music. And there's a lot of choices out there for them to go to. And some people come to our shows and dance for the first time. It might take them till the second set to do it, but when they come back, they're up there on the first note of the first set the next time. They're like, I've been through this drill, I know what's going down, let's just not waste any time and get it.
used to be the heart of town. Till this town ain't got no heart. Just gotta poke around.
You gotta poke around.
Love to shake it on, shake down.
Shake it on, shake down.
Shake it on, shake down. Used to be the heart of town. Used to be the heart of town. Tell me this town ain't got no heart.
So there's this tune that Dylan does, and in fact it was on the Dylan of the Dead record called Slow Train. And I've always thought it was about Dylan, and in a way the Dead also, looking at all of their cronies from the late 60s, from the counterculture, and kind of saying, you know, where are they now? And it kind of speaks of all these people falling off this thing, and there's a slow train coming for all of them. And in a weird way, I mean, look around, we can do a quick pan, this is just set on a Tuesday night on a sidewalk, you know, in a public parking lot. Obviously, there's like something that is still around. The scene was big enough, it was modern enough. Most people here never saw Jerry play. Our drummer and our guitarist have never seen Jerry play. I've seen Jerry, or Jimmy and I probably saw the Dead. You know, I was like 70 or something. He was like 90 or 100 maybe. But it used to trip us out back in the day. I said that kind of casually, but when we would say, oh, somebody's never seen the Dead, it would be almost a thing, a cut and dry thing, like you haven't jumped in. Now that it's not possible, it's kind of like, let's take all comers. And so there is kind of something to that. There is an unfolding that has been happening, that is happening here. Manifested by this idea of a true second generation, a true another generation. We have no direct connection to Garcia in that regard.
All right, is everyone having a good time so far tonight? Then around 1997, we had this really great idea of getting all our friends together for a camp out in the woods. That's right. We called it Schwagstock.
We played a few camp-out events before that first Schwagstock. One of the very first camp-out events we did wasn't called the Schwagstock. We were playing at the Old Threshers Festival in Paris, Missouri. And the police got a little upset, and they were hassling people. So after we played on the ball field and the fairgrounds, instead of everyone camping there getting hassled, my parents invited everyone to their 20 acres right outside of town, 3 miles away. So there's this big caravan of 300 people, and we all camped in the backyard. It was a lot of fun. And we thought, wow, this is great, we should do this again. And that led to that first Schwagstock event, which was, I guess, a month or so later.
So we moved to Lesterville, Missouri, and we had a really big party down there back in 1998. Then in 1999, on Labor Day, we had over 2,000 people show up for a party down there. And we thought, man, we're on to something here. We need to keep this going because it's a really good time. Everyone's having a good time. There's no problems. It's really cool. Then we outgrew that place in Lesterville and we moved all the way to Leesburg, Missouri. And there at Bagnell Dam, too, you know, down Lake of the Ozarks. We're having 4 big parties a year, playing gigs all over. And then one time in Leesburg, about 3 years ago, over 7,000 people showed up for one of our parties. And we're like, holy cow, what are we gonna do now? So you know what we went and did. We went and bought our own property in Salem, Missouri, and now we have parties all the time.
Don't care. Saw my baby down by the river, and knew she'd ever come up seen there. Sweet nights will come home under the wheel. We can have high times if you don't mind. We can discover the wonders of nature, rolling in the rushes down by the riverside. She's got everything to life for.
When I first saw the Dead in 1989, Alpine Valley, Wisconsin, went up there for 3 shows, and by the second song of the first set of the first night, I was blown away with the energy, the amount of people that were there and how they were vibing off the energy, and it was that vibe. And in 1989 at Alpine Valley, they let everyone that wanted to camp right on the parking lot.
She comes give me the easy money. She can wait it and I love you. She don't come and I don't bother. Waits backstage and I sing to you.
And I thought it was an amazing community vibe.
She can dance Cajun river, jump like pennies and wheel drive. She's a summer love in the spring, fall, and winter. She can bring happy.
And it seemed like wherever I went in the country to see the Dead, there was always that little zoo or that family traveling with the band. And then when the Dead stopped touring, it's like a lot of these people, they didn't have that coming to their city and they couldn't travel to it. And that's what I always enjoyed about the Dead show, was the fact that you could camp right there and you could hang out with all these people. Because most concerts, the second the show's done, they flip the lights on and security's poking you to saying, thank you for the money, get out. You know, where at the Dead shows, it's like, hey, the show's over, hang out. The last couple years of the Dead shows weren't quite like that. They were having so many people hang out in the lots that it was too much of a problem for the venues to handle, so they weren't allowing camping. And those last Dead shows, it was making me sad that the show's over, lights come on, you get poked and ran off the lot. And it was some pretty bad scenes trying to run people off the lot, where for years they were allowed to. And then Jerry died, and the whole thing seems like it was crashing. And sure, they did the Further Fest the next year and that, but it was the same thing. You couldn't camp, and it's like no one that was in charge of anything was realizing the importance of that parking lot scene in that community. And it wasn't rocket science what I did. I was just like, hey, why can't we create a vibe where we move the band out to the middle of the parking lot and just surround the stage with all this, with all these people.
Sound check. Howdy, folks. My name is Heather. Oh, it's so nice to see all of you out there on the grass. Everybody else, come down to have a nice seat on the grass and relax. We got open mic here on the second stage. So happy to be here at Schwagstock 25. Yeah. So we got a bunch of people that are already signed up on the list, but I do still have a few spots available. So anybody out there who would like to get up here on the stage for the open mic today, please do come down here and hang out.
DJ Reason E will start at 2 o'clock. 3:30 will be the High Time Cousins. 4:30 will be the Green Mountain Grass. 6:30 will be the Allman Brothers Tribute Morgantown, which should be an excellent show. And then the Schwag will hit the stage at 9 o'clock once again tomorrow night on the main stage at Schwagstock 25. Come check it out.
Hi, I'm Mark Warning with Cosmic Cornucopia. We've been vending since Schwagstock 3. We've only missed one. Been to lots of other events. Schwag is just fantastic. It's my idea of heaven. I must have had a good previous life to be reincarnated to come to this. I could have been reincarnated as a turkey vulture eating mammal patties off the side of the road, but this is my privilege, and I love it.
It gives a lot of people the opportunity to enjoy themselves, and they find love, they find kindness, they learn to give and share. They learn that they can trust. It's a whole different experience for a lot of kids that were brought up, maybe if they had trouble at home or any kind of a situation that has maybe marked them, that a past that's very hurtful, and they learn to come here and share. It's not only kids, but the adults, they open up, they learn to share their feelings, and they're kind. always, but they were not treated that way. A lot of them come in, don't have maybe a lot of money or something like that. They can come in and they need something to drink or anything. They cannot believe that you just give them something. They learn so much about love, and they learn a lot about life. It's always a really positive experience for most of them.
The beer of the daytime should be considered smoothies. See, pleasant barter with the authorities. That's great. Nobody's excitable, nobody's fighting. For some reason, occasionally when cops come by, I'll go like this. Like it's less suspicious if you have good posture. See people with a car like cops, if everybody's like, oh.
First person I met was this guy over here. So I met him, we were at this gas station store, and we wanted to buy these tickets to the Grateful Dead concert. He wanted one and I wanted one, so I didn't know sign language at the time. So we went, I told him, well, you take one ticket and I'll take one ticket, and we'll meet here tomorrow, and a bunch of my friends are going. And so we went out there and we stayed for a week, and I was kind of fascinated with his ability to communicate and how much he enjoyed the show. I started becoming an interpreter, and since I already know all the Dead music, it's easy to interpret. I just do it and voice what he has to say. I've been coming here many Schwagstocks, really too many to count. It's like kind of like the Grateful Dead farm. It feels like home here, but it is different. It's like being in a different world. I wish that people lived like this all year round.
Well, we are the pyrotechnicians for the Schwagstock. We're chaining up some shells, getting ready to blow some stuff up. Gonna have a little fun. Saturday night after the show. As the grand crescendo builds and grows.
Grand finale.
Yeah. The fireworks will start. Kind of like to think of it kind of like a Tibetan sand painting, you know. It's kind of the art. It blows away as we enjoy it. Thank you, Monsieur. Just a lot of good times, a lot of friends. Everyone comes out, everyone's cool. We work at other festivals where security's so strong and, you know, everyone's so uptight and everything that you can't even enjoy yourself. And that's one of the beautiful things about Schwagstock, is that people just come here and, you know, have fun, and just they have a little bit of brotherly love spreading around, and everyone has a little bit of respect for each other, and it's a little bit of a free, I like to think of it like a little free zone, you know. It's just great that something like that still goes on in America, because sometimes you think it's just, you know, this can't exist anymore, but it can. It's just got to stay hidden away. It's not quite ready for mass consumption yet. Schwagstock, it's just like everyone's on the same page and everyone's having fun. I just, you know, everyone's sitting around the campfires, just drinking, chilling.
One of the things is, like, you start doing so many Schwagstocks, you get to know because the same people are involved over the years. It kind of becomes like your own little neighborhood. It's like you're coming home, you're like, Schwagstock again, here we go. Take a little stroll around, run into this guy, run into that guy, have a good laugh, some memories.
The crowd comes out, man, they totally dig it. Even though everyone's heard it before and everything, it still is magical every time they play. And, you know, when the Schwags at Schwagstock, you know, they came to kick some ass, man. They came to party. When we started, there were like 1,500 people, and they traveled around different campgrounds, and it was a lot of fun. It was only the family that came. It was the same people, and, you know, they bought their campground in one of the most beautiful places ever. And, you know, I've noticed that more people that aren't familiar with the family and familiar with the music have been coming, you know, and I just hope that those people can appreciate it and be cool and respect the free zone that they're given and the latitude they're given, because sometimes I worry when I see people that, you know, don't know anything about this, they just hear it's an incredible party, and that, you know, that
free for all.
yeah, that it's a free for all, you know. But to do that, you know, humanity has to have respect for each other. You know, you can't once bad elements see one person's respect as another person's weakness. You know, I just hope that never becomes, you know, I just hope everyone can dig the vibe. You know, I hope the Schwag can be popular and not, you know, open a Pandora's box at the same time, because it's hard to cast pearl in front of swine, and you know, the public may not always be ready for this much love and peace and freedom.
Find shit that's unique, you know, make it part of yours at Schwag, man. Like, got this fucking skeleton thing that I smoke cigarettes out of, shit.
I think Shakedown Street, the vending area, is very important. It broke my heart at the later shows where they were busting people for vending. They would take all their tie-dyes and all their food, and people would be crying, and people walking around the lot were looking for that. And that's where a lot of people would centralize themselves. It's like the main street of a Grateful Dead show or the main street of a Schwagstock is Shakedown Street. And I think it's right up there with the music. You know, we book the vendors like they're the artist. And some of them are artists. Some of them are blowing glass, making sculptures, or they're spray painting. You can get something to wear, you can get something to eat there. You can buy something you want or something you need, or you can just browse even if you don't have money and then buy it the next time around. But I think it's very essential to the event. It's one of the main ingredients that make Schwagstock what it is, or a dead parking lot scene the way it was. So we wanted to keep that vibe. So after a while, we started regulating the vendors. There was a few shows where some of these state fair vendors were coming up to me between bands going, "Hey man, can you shut the music down? It's killing our business." I'm like, "You're here for the wrong reason, and I'm sorry I have to say that."
Sunshine daydream, walking in the tall trees, knowing where the wind blows, moving like a rainbow, breathing more freely, right out singing up. Sunshine daydream, sunshine daydream, sunshine daydream, sweet loving me. Ow, sunshine daydream, walking in the tall trees. Sunshine daydream, living like a rainbow. Sunshine daydream, sunshine daydream, sunshine sweet loving me. Sunshine daydream, sunshine. Sunshine daydream, sunshine daydream.
Thanks a lot. We're going to take a short break. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Cheers to Schwagstock, everybody. Let's all do a social. Everybody drink. Everybody drink.
That's the beauty of some of those songs, is the way they're structured is when you're playing them, you can get real free with the music. It's like you kind of set up the intro, and the intro can be short and you bust right into the first verse, or you can stretch it out and play with it for a while and then do the first verse.
Let my inspiration flow and token rhyme, suggesting rhythm that'll not forsake. Till my tale is told and done.
And then the journey between the first verse and the second verse is different from night to night.
While the fire lights a glow, strange shadows of a flame will grow to things we've never seen, seem familiar.
I think the audience kind of comes going, okay, how are they going to play it tonight, and what kind of adventure are they taking us on?
Shadows of a sailor form in winds both foul and fair all sworn. Down in Carlisle he loved a lady many years ago.
Like, oh, we're getting to ride that spaceship tonight. What galaxy are we going to explore on this ship?
Here beside him stands a man, a soldier, from the looks of him, who came through many fights.
And then you come back, and then you get on another ship, which could be Terrapin Station, which takes you to a whole other land, which the lyrics paints this picture.
While the storyteller speaks, a door within the fire creaks, suddenly flies open, and a girl is standing there.
And it takes the listeners on these journeys, as well as the musicians.
Eyes alight with glowing hair, all that fancy paints is fair. She takes her fan and throws it in the lion's den. Which of you to gain me tell will risk uncertain pains of hell? I will not forgive if you will not take the chance.
It's told that there's over 6,000 people here, so I want to thank you all for coming. This is Schwagstock 25. This is the silver celebration. We were on that bakers too, so this is really cool. So you gotta help us count to 25. You ready? I'll count to 4, and then we'll start the count to 25. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Soldier coming out again, the lady fairly left dead hand. It's how it stands today. You decide if he was wise.
The view from the back of the drum riser is really a trip at Schwagstocks a lot of times. I'm pretty much the highest one on the field almost, except obviously for people up on the hill. But I mean, I have the definite bird's eye view. But one thing about it is that all the stage lighting being directed in our faces, I can't really a lot of times see out more than the first 3 rows. It's pretty much just black. It's just an expanse of black. But what's cool about it is I will see like the fire torch guys way up on the back of the field. I'll see the torches. I'll see anything lit up. I'll see the guy who has the balloon or whatever with the neon floating way up in the back, and the campfire in the back. Always the moon. It seems like we always get like just the most killer shots of the moon. I do, especially, man, from where I'm sitting, because the moon is right over the hill always for us. And yeah, it's just pretty crazy.
I'd like you to think about what happiness means to you. Here are the answers I heard today. Happiness is love. Happiness is friends. a full belly, and a warm blanket. Happiness is good family. Schwagstock. Getting super dank nuggets. Little lines in the corner of your eyes. A smile on everybody's face. Being here. Not caring what other people think of you. Being free, doing whatever you want. Enjoy being around people. Well, I want to take you on a little trip.
Grateful Dead, what that whole vibe is all about as far as people, kind of deadheads or schwaggers. It's deadheads and schwaggers are really the same people, man. You know, I mean, it's like we're playing for the same crowds, we're playing the same music for the same crowds, but it's like the only difference is you know, we do the Dead like rocket fuel, man. You know, I mean, we just take it up to a different place, you know, sort of, but it's we're doing the same music, we're for the same people. I think the reason that the Grateful Dead music has been perpetuated, and the whole thing, say, with the Schwag and Schwaggers, or anybody else, Dan Tricksters or Dark Star, anybody else out there doing it, is that it's a communal family vibe that's just always been there since, I guess, the earliest part of the 70s, I guess, or the late 60s. People kind of latch on to that, man. It's, you know, I always kind of think that the Deadheads or the Schwaggers are kind of a convention for the unconventional. It's just such a family vibe, and I think that I've certainly picked up on it since I've been.
And there were some nights there where the fog would come on late at night and the light show. You had the guy out there with the glow sticks and the music brings the whole thing, makes it happen. It's like electricity. It's just you can go all out.
Surprise the audience too, and it surprises us. It's like, okay, we're in the middle of one song, let's do this one, then come back. We call them song sandwiches, because there's a bun on each end and some meat in the middle. And sometimes we start one song off, kind of groove into another tune, then into another tune, then back into the original song we were in.
Inspiration moves me brightly. Like a song with sunset color, hold away despair. More than this I will not ask. There's mysteries dark and vast. Statements just seem plain and loud. Some rise, some fall. Some far to get to terror. Counting stars by candlelight, while her dim and one is bright. Spiral light of Venus, rising first and shining last. All from the northwest corner. Crickets and cicadas sing from different terror station by the shadow of the moon. Terror station, and I know we'll be there soon. Terror, I can't figure out terror.
nights it's just there's this energy. We'll do a 25-minute love light jam, or 35-minute love light jam. There's this big improvisational vocal thing. And some nights it's just short and sweet, or it starts a set off, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, pass it on. And then people are like, oh, this was a good one, but man, that one they did was so cool. And then like 2 months later, someone will come up out of the audience going, man, I thought the best version of Love Light was that one. And then the last one you did was cool, but man, tonight you smoked me. I couldn't believe where you guys went with it. And I'm like, yeah, I was pretty surprised too. I didn't think it was going to end up there, or that it was even going to end up anywhere. And the lyrics to the songs mean a lot, and the way these songs are written to where when you sing the songs, the audience gets to hear every single word and nuance of every word, where some groups, when you hear the singer sing, you can barely understand any of the words they're singing. With the Dead material, the lyrics are right there, and the audience sings along. It amazes me how many people in the audience know the words. Sometimes I'm forgetting a lyric and I just get quiet for a minute and listen for the audience to sing. So they know the songs as well. And why it's that way with this group of songs and compositions, I don't know, it just is. So I don't know if anyone of us can explain it, but we all just go with it because the music's magic in itself. There's been times we've been playing like a ballad, a power ballad in the middle of a big show, 6,000 people, 7,000 people, and the whole entire audience will be so quiet. Like on Stella Blue, we'll hit a pocket of silence and everyone will just hold their breath because they know that silent part's coming and they concentrate. And then we come back in and everyone screams, and it's this bolt of energy where you think most energies come from playing loud and hitting a big thing, and we do those too, but to be able to do it with quietness.
What's an F? I got one. Okay. Wait, you just gotta go to here.
It's been at my front porch for a couple days.
Fare you well, my honey. Oh, that's wrong. Wait. Sorry. Okay, let's start over. See, this is very informal. Fare you well, my honey. Fare you well, my only true one. All the birds that were seen are flown, except you belong.
Whenever when you're walking through life, it's hard to find a group of people who you can get along with in a real tangible way. I mean, everybody likes each other. Nobody's out to have a bad day. And that's hard to find. A lot of people out there with a lot of bad attitudes.
Make myself a bed by the waterside. In my time, I will roll.
When you finally get to something like this, you're like, wow, I kind of like this.
In a bed by the waterside, I will lay my head. Listen to the river sing sweet songs to rock my soul.
Sherry going to die, and everyone thought that the Grateful Dead was over.
River gotta take me singing, sweet and sleepy. Sing me sweet and sleepy all the way.
It was like kind of ceasefire, kind of where people would not be able to feel that same husband.
Mama, many worlds I've gone since I first left home.
When my friend Becky informed me about Schwag, I was like, oh really? I want to go.
I will rest my bones. Listen to the river sing sweet songs to rock my soul.
It's just like a very little version of the Grateful Dead.
You're the plant of
just a friendly environment where they don't judge me because of my adoption.
Love you more than words can tell. Listen to the river sing sweet songs to rock my soul.
No matter how bad things can get, the Grateful Dead music can always make things uplifting where you feel good and move on.
Listen to the river sing sweet songs to rock my soul.
That was awesome.
Where'd that cigarette go?
Did you drop it?
Mary and
Bob.
Lane.
Without an E. B-L-A-I-N.
How long have you been going to Schwag, Mary?
Oh, forever. And it starts with my son got in trouble when he was 13, and we had to do family therapy, court ordered. And they said, look, I got something to tell you here. The thing that I think is most important with adolescent children, you got to know them and they got to know you. And that means you must do things they want to do. So, you know, in his room all the time I hear this Grateful Dead music, and I think, well, you know, I know the Dead, but it wasn't really my favorite music. But I thought, okay, I got to do things that he wants to do. And then Maddie Shannon said, Mary, you got to hear this band. They're called the Schwag, and they're a Dead cover band, and they're awesome. And they oftentimes do all ages. So we took Ben and his friends. Not only did we take Ben, but all of his friends. We had a Volkswagen van. We packed everybody up. We got to know Ben, and he was developing just beautifully. His last Schwagstock was in September of '99, and October 16th he died in a car accident. I am bonded with the band, the Schwag. I love the Schwag, not only because I love the music, but because they gave to me this opportunity to know my son. You know, we do just fine. I mean, you know, I'd love to see Ben again, but I can't ever. We can't ever. And, but it all seems okay. We could say goodbye. And we also have continued to do the Schwag and bring him back with the Spirit Shrine. And I put these thousands of pictures, hundreds of pictures, no, maybe 50 pictures. And, but him and Connor, his buddy, went to the first Schwagstock, died 4 months later in an unrelated accident. And then one of the girls, Erica, who was driving the car that Ben was in, her pictures are there too, and her twin sister, Melissa. So I feel it's just, you know, I bring them back to every Schwagstock, and I'm never going to miss a Schwag. If you don't see me at a Schwagstock, something's really wrong with me or Bob, but I'd probably let him home with somebody and come myself because I have to bring the kids back to Schwagstock.
Well, a lot of people have been asking about Jack. And Jack, first off, for me anyway, is definitely a brother. Truly kin to me, man. And he decided he wanted to get into doing more of a project where he could write songs and have a vehicle to write. And him and Devin Allman have a band going on, Honey Tribe. That's really cool. That's really tight with, been tight with us, been tight with the Tribe for a long time. And I think Jack was kind of really feeling the creative itch to get out there and do that whole thing. Jack really brought a really bluesy edge to us. You know, he's a real bluesy guy, real bluesy keyboard guy. Nate brings a real jazz sensibility to the group. We sound really jazzy at times a lot now.
One cool thing about playing this music is I never actually got to see the Grateful Dead with Jerry Garcia. After Jerry Garcia died, I got real into the band. I actually met Jimmy around that time, around like 96, 97. He took me to a couple further shows and it kind of opened my mind up a little bit to what this was all about. And definitely playing Schwagstock, and actually my first Schwagstock I played was the first Schwagstock I ever went to, so that kind of furthered the whole scene for me and what it was all about, and just the coolness of everything, the music, the people, the appreciation of the people for the music. Definitely being on stage at like a Schwagstock, looking out into the crowd and seeing the people and the glow sticks going all over the place and the smiles on people's faces. I almost try to like get out to where they're at and like kind of do like an out of body thing to where like, I'm playing keyboards and stuff, but like I'm also just kind of enjoying the same moment everyone else is, be it me being on stage or like them being out there and enjoying the good time and everything.
Grateful Dead music is so strong in its compositions that the songs will live on forever. They're almost timeless. People hear them for the first time and enjoy them. People can hear them year after year after year. And they're continually evolving. There's energy and life to it. And I never get burned on the songs. I'm 38 now. I can sing doing this until I die, and hopefully I'll get 80 or 90 years, maybe 100 of this body. And after we're dead, the songs are going to still live on, and there's going to be other people doing it.
It's alright.
We really want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. We love you all. One more song.
There's mosquitoes on the river, fish are rising up like birds. It's been hot for 7 weeks now, too hot to even speak now. Did you hear what I just heard? Well, it might have been a fiddle. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Or could have been the rain. Ooh, ooh, ooh. But there seems to be a wind. Ooh, ooh. So there it comes again. There's a van down on the highway, high stepping into your town. was feeling dizzy. The band kept us so busy, we forgot about the time. Keep on dancing till the daylight. Read the morning air was soft. No one's noticed, but the band's all packed and gone. Will we ever hear it all? But they keep on dancing. Come on, children, come on, children, come on, clap your hands. Well, the cool breeze came on Tuesday, and the chords of bumper crop. In the fields there's lots of dancing, they're singing and romancing. The music never stopped.
It all comes back to Dead themselves and the way they played it and the way they felt it. The music itself, you can't compare that music to any other kind of music. I mean, I love all kinds of music, but there's something about the lyrics, there's something about the music, it's something about the way it makes you feel every time you hear it. Every time you hear it. I mean, there's recordings that I can close my eyes and I'm right there. I mean, I feel Jerry, I see Jerry. When I hear them talk about the rain falling, the rain is falling. I don't care if I'm inside or outside, the rain is falling on me and I feel it. And that's, I can't explain it. I don't know why. I have no clue why. All I know is that I feel that music when I hear it play.
All right, give it up for Tim Moody on guitar tonight. Tony Antonelli on drums. Nate Carpenter on the keyboards. Heather Barth sitting in with us. My name's Jimmy Tebow, and we thank you all.
Lay down, my dear brothers, lay down and take your rest. Won't you lay your head upon your Savior's breast? I love you, oh, but Jesus loves you the best, and we bid you good night, good night, good night. Lay down, my dear brothers, lay down and take your rest. Won't you lay your head upon your Savior's breast? I love you, oh, but Jesus loves you the best, and we bid you good night, good night, good night. And we bid you good night, good night. Good walking through Jerusalem just like John. Good night, good night. I remember right well, I remember right well. Good night, good night. And it's one for the staff and one for the preacher. Good night, good night. We've been walking for 15 years now. Good night, good night. And walking through Jerusalem just like Jesus. Good night, good night, good night. Lay down, my dear brothers, lay down and take your rest. Won't you lay your head upon your Savior's breast? I love you, oh, but Jesus loves you the best, and we bid you good night, good night, good night. And we bid you good night, good night, good night. And we bid you good night, good night, good night.
Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see you at Schwagstock this summer. We're still playing every Tuesday in town.
Thank you.
It's hard to leave a Schwagstock.
It is. We hate to leave.
But we know we gotta go.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.